Hi everyone, it's Asperger back again with another audio recording. Okay, this time I'll be talking about bullying. I think that for those that were bullied in life, you can never really get over it, can you? At least I couldn't. I could never forget the pain my bullies put me through. I'm sure it's the same for other people as well. Some could say, don't let it rule your life, and while that may be true, I follow the principle to remember the past and use it as knowledge for my future. Knowledge is wisdom, isn't it? I know that some people want to move on as the past is the past and the future is the future, but to be quite honest, from personal experience, I think history has a funny way of repeating itself, at least it has done for me. As far as I was concerned, each and every bully, especially the worst ones, would be filed away into the black book of bullies inside my mind. I treated this book as a testament to remember as many of the foul treatments I was subjected to as possible. Of course, my memory isn't perfect. I wish I started a diary when I was younger, but nevertheless, I can remember the pain I felt most of all. That pain is still with me to this day. Bullies always surrounded me at school. I had to switch classes in year 5 in primary school as the bullying I kept being subjected to felt too much to take. It mattered not what class I was in, I was always subjected to bullying. In the last 2 years of primary school, I was introduced to a friend, only this friend I felt was impossible to talk to. I can remember trying to talk to him various times, but I don't think he ever really opened up to me, so I have no idea if we were even friends at all. All I think he was at the end of the day was a protection from bullies. It worked while he was sitting beside me, but one day he decided he didn't want to sit next to me anymore, and then suddenly the bullies started coming again. Only this time, I think, for all the time I wasn't bullied, I think this time it came all at once. This time the bullying made me far more aware of the bullies around me. As I said in my first recording, I was alienated, a ghost with a bullseye sign strapped to my forehead, and I was. I always used to walk around the playground with just my thoughts for company. It wasn't so bad. I could try my best to make sense of it all. I couldn't, though. How could you, when you're bullied non-stop and you felt so alienated at school? What did make sense to me, right back at that point, was that life can be very cruel. I never hurt my bullies, and yet I was constantly hurt by them. Why when I didn't hurt them, I thought. As I also said in my first recording, the head teacher of primary school said, "Do unto others as you want to be done to yourself," and yet they kept bullying me in spite of all the attempts I tried to make friends. To me, it wasn't do unto others as you want to be done to yourself, unless of course my bullies wanted to be bullied. I instead saw it as, try to be as nice as possible to find friends, and more often than not in life you'll be hurt time and time again. Now that would make more sense to me, though I would never hurt others even if I were more likely to be hurt for being kind. I just wanted to find friends in class by being as true and genuine as I could be. Why was it that I was bullied countless times, I wondered. In spite of my constant questions while wandering the playground, nothing came to me. Nothing came to me but awareness that I'd need to be more cautious in the future. There were instances when I was bullied so much the trust I had in people moved right down to 0%. Why? Well, when you've suffered enough at the hands of those around you, there comes a time when you say, I've had enough of being hurt time and time again. I'll try my best to think before I act around people. I could see I was too naive around others, so naive that I didn't realize what was actually happening around me. When I became more aware, it didn't really stop my bullying, but what it did was make me more aware of those around me, more aware when I need to steer clear from certain people and at certain times. Of course, it didn't always work, but it was the best I could do. Unfortunately, there was a time when someone came up to me, but I didn't think anything of it then, as I was just trying to be extra cautious due to the awareness I had of being bullied countless times, that I think I missed out on opening up to someone when I had the chance. I never forgot that, of course, so ever since I've been trying to control my awareness to always be cautious but think a little harder before I act. Nevertheless, later in the second year of secondary school, I happened to be walking around the playground, minding my own business, when I came across a loose paving stone. I, thinking nothing of it, as so many others were messing around with it, went up to them, finding out what the fascination was all about. Tried standing on the paving stone myself, on one corner, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone jumps on the other side, giving me no warning at all. The paving stone couldn't take the pressure of both myself and this other person's weight, and so the paving stone broke. Needless to say, I was utterly shocked by this, but soon noticed that one of my bullies ran straight into the PE building, and as PE was our next lesson, to tell the teacher, I imagined. I could tell what was going to happen. I could tell I would be subjected to a great deal of trauma. I just staggered my way into the PE changing room like a zombie, changed into my PE clothes, and made my way painstakingly into the PE gym hall. Of course, I didn't want to go anywhere near the gym hall. In truth, I wanted to run straight out of school and home, but I couldn't. I didn't do anything crazy like that at school. I just wanted to get through each day as best as I could. From the prison of school to the haven of home. I eventually made my way into the gym hall. Only when I got into the gym hall, the PE teacher, that was also the head of year, told everyone to do an activity in the hall. He then came up to me, asked me to sit on one of these chairs, which was set aside with a table between them. I excruciatingly made my way to the table. I wanted to make a run for it, but I couldn't. I was stuck. When we sat on the chairs, he asked me the fateful question I knew was coming. He asked me, "Did you step on the paving stone? And why did you do it?" I knew I couldn't cope with the pressure of it all, and I just crossed my arms around my head on the table and broke into tears. I couldn't say someone else jumped on the other side because I was just too shocked at the questions. I even noticed that the other student that jumped on the other side of the paving stone came up to me to ask if I was all right, as did the PE teacher. Of course I wasn't. I had the head of year interrogating me in front of you all, and you're not even opening up for the fact that you jumped on the other side as well. I couldn't stop crying all week after that, and I refused to go back to school. The welfare rights officer that I used to go to over my bullying tried to convince me to go back, but I didn't. I couldn't, not after being subjected to that interrogation at the hands of the head of year, that didn't even know why I was crying. I was so adamant about it, and the welfare rights officer knew how hard it was for me to say no to authority figures, so he backed off. My mum fought for me to have a statement of special educational needs after I was diagnosed with autism that same year when I was 14 years old. I was taught at home, but from behind my bedroom door, as that was the way I preferred to be taught after that traumatic experience. I was taught like that for 5.5 years until my statement ended. I prefer to be taught like that because I couldn't cope with face-to-face contact with authority figures, especially those that taught me since the head of year interrogated me. My trust in authority figures completely dropped after that, and I wouldn't face them as I would be reminded of my pain again. The reason why I retreated behind my bedroom door wasn't only because of the head of year, but because of all the bullying that led up to it as well. I'd had enough at that point, and I couldn't take any more. I was connected to a pupil referral unit that was actually for children who were misbehaving at school, but I was connected to the school as well, but I don't think that was right. First of all, I was introduced to one home and hospital tutor, and then later another. There is a long story behind this, but what I'll say is that no one ever came to talk to me from behind my bedroom door about my bullying and how the head of year, along with all the other bullies at school, caused me to be there. No one ever came to help me to find a way for me to learn the subjects I've always wanted to in the way I can cope with. I was simply restricted to what the tutors could teach me, and only in 1 year, when they should have been completed in 2 years. I wasn't even allowed to resit my exams. There was even a special way I was able to take my exams, but that's another story. Anyway, as no one came to talk about my bullying at school, all I ever did was try to talk to the tutors, but they mainly wanted me to concentrate on the work. Rightly so, but who else could I talk to other than my mum about it? I had no friends to turn to open up about what happened to me. I was completely alone. I could only really tell my mum, and to be honest, my mum is the only person in my family that really understands me. My mum attended many meetings with professionals, but no one ever kept their promises. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for now, and thank you for listening.